All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Super Speedway Xfinity Series here at Daytona International Speedway, and we are just rocking through the season so far here back at Daytona for the second time this season. Drivers are now putting down their qualifying laps to get things underway again. A little narrower track than Talladega, so that's always going to be an important one for these guys to nail down their starting positions, I believe. Last week, though, Randy Minor getting the big win in that race. And then, so this is race number 6. So basically, after tonight, we've got 2 more races to go before we take that top 8 in the points. And that is going to tell us who will be in that playoff. So while we have that, let's go ahead and pull up those points going into tonight's event. As right now, Gabe Butler, again, a commanding lead, 38 points over J.D. Crow, tied actually for second with Vicente Guerrero, and then Robert Dupont only 1 point behind them in fourth. And then you got Cody Nagel, Eric Laurie, Randy Minor, and Dan Harrington are the top 8 in points. And so right now, on the outside looking in, you have Dean Wilkinson, who is just 4 points behind the number 82. And then you also see not too far back there, you have Todd Siebels, Tom Dixon, Les Levy, Bob Fitzgerald. So there's still a lot of drivers in very, very close proximity. I mean, if you go from Dan Harrington, who is at 132 points, you drop just, let's see, about 20 points, gets you all the way down to Kevin Freese in 16th position. And that's actually for Kevin. He's actually missed a couple races, so that also does not account for drop weeks yet. So there will be 1 drop week for these guys. So unfortunately for Kevin Freese, he's missed 2 already, so he's going to wind up needing to kind of gain some ground over the course of the next couple races, which wouldn't be at all something to be expected or unexpected to see Kevin work his way up there. So it'll be fun to see what these guys have in store for us this evening. And yeah, definitely welcome, Boomer. Good to have you over here. Love to have you watching, supporting. Looking forward to having you running the show on Tuesday for our IR18 IndyCars. As I'll be joined in the booth, as you hear right there, Matt
Boomer.
Wagner in the booth with me this evening. And so obviously kind of a bit of a solemn one, I guess you could say, this evening, Matt. Obviously it's been a really long time, obviously not one that many will forget ever. So definitely thinking of those affected by the happenings of September 11th in 2001. Wild to think it's been 21 years since that occurred, but it was definitely a tough situation, and then but we're that's a reason to be thankful as well, though, for what we still do have and all that. So yeah, so definitely a tough one. Thinking of course all those that were involved directly, and of course indirectly, families, loved ones, and such. So but hopefully distraction a little bit tonight with the racing this evening. These guys going to put on some great racing this evening. See Kevin Nagel's in here ready to cheer on his Cody Nagel, I should say, as well as his teammates over in Limitless, as we've still got about a minute left in qualifying. But Matt, looks like a lot of drivers put in some lap times here. Got a few drivers that waited towards the later stages put laps down. Right now showing about 14 having a lap in. I see about 2 more on track, including Gabe Butler and Cody Nagel, who will be two drivers very confident of their abilities in qualifying, who have a great chance of trying to get a pole here tonight.
Yeah, September 11th. I was living in the city of Philadelphia at that time, right? When we were in, man, I don't really want to think about that day. That's probably the most tragic thing I've ever witnessed.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it's one of those things nobody can have the words for it. Almost is the best way to put it.
For me, it was like the scariest thing. And you're up in the building in the city of Philadelphia, and that just happened. Where you're at, and everybody is so frantic that day. That's one of the days I won't never ever forget.
Yeah, no, like I said, I don't think anybody will. So with that, Matt, looks like qualifying has just completed here, so we're gonna pull up our starting grid for tonight's event. And it looks like up top it's gonna be Kevin Freese getting the pole position there by just over 100th of a second over Gabe Butler. So again, Kevin needed to make up some ground, going to get a bonus point right off the bat in that number 25 machine. And then you got Eric Laurie, Cody Nagel. We just talked about Cody also putting a great lap in there for P4. And we got Zach Workman, Tom Dixon, JD Crow, Dean Wilkinson, Les Levy, and Robert Rock. And rounding out the top 10. Then we continue on to Bud Steele, Robert Dupont in 12th. Then we have David Bone, Vicente Guerrero, Ivan Deschamps, David Overstreet, Andy Brigante in 17th. The first not to put down a qualifying lap. Alongside him, Bob Fitzgerald, Randy Miner, Robert Jordan, Guy Bracco, Fuzz Yater, and Jimmy Crow Jr. in the 23rd position here this evening. So these guys all getting gridded up here, Matt. We're about to get rolling here in just a moment. So we're back to Daytona again. A little narrower track here. We'll have to see if that affects the outcome. Of course, probably a little less three-wide racing than we see at Talladega here at Daytona, but probably a two-stop race tonight here. Sounds like these drivers feel like they can comfortably go at least 26 laps on fuel, and that would be the magic number to make it on two stops to get that magic lap number 78. But again, here with the Super Speedway Series, lap 78 is not always the final lap in this race. Sometimes we do get that overtime. So there are 3 attempts of a green white checkered finish here at Area 51 Super Speedway Series. Also 2 fast pairs in the pockets of these drivers, which they all hope that they don't have to use this evening. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see what we have in store for us tonight.
Yeah, I would be the guy hanging in the back. Hopefully I don't burn that fast repair, but I'm so used to the Indy Series, which run 1 fast repair. So maybe if I was in the field today, I can probably use that in my back pocket. But more intentionally, I would like to run in the back instead of be like Kevin Freese, run up front all day. But he has that experience by running up front. That and Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, all them guys. Like I said, they're really tough to beat. We'll see what happens, how things shake out here.
Yeah, that's exactly. Those guys are very tough to beat here. See Guy Bracco, the last one, rolling out of pit road. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Jimmy Crow Jr. in the field actually this evening, so it looks like 22 starters tonight. And right off the bat, Kevin Freese is going to waste no time just making sure he saves every drop of fuel in that number 25's Kellogg Chevy. Because again, you never know when you might need that extra fuel here, so he's just working that number right off the get-go. And that's how important some of these drivers take. You see JD Crow, you can see he's leading kind of a group of drivers doing that as well. You see Les Levy, Bud Steele. So one of those things, you see one do it and like, yeah, you know what, that's not a bad idea. And it's something as well in NASCAR. There's a good chunk of time where NASCAR drivers really didn't worry too much about fuel mileage, and then at some point something clicked where then every caution drivers were shutting their cars off, saving fuel. And just, it was a big change, I guess you could say, on the strategy and kind of just the way people ran those races. So, and I say Kevin Freese obviously knowing that you never know when you might need that extra drop or 2 of fuel. So he's going to do that right off the get-go. And so I got a couple new paint schemes there in row number 2 and 3.
Just get ready to say, because some of these paints are fantastic. First off, I'm looking at Les Levy's car. That's a beautiful paint scheme, as usual.
And so if you like that paint scheme, I'll say you can get a hold of him. Levy Designs on Facebook. He does iRacing paint schemes. But Matt, it's about time to go green here as the pace car is off. You get that Geico restart zone. We are underway here at Daytona. 78 laps are our scheduled distance. Kevin Freese, Gabe Butler lead into the flag. See the little puffs of flames there as we're at nighttime here tonight as they go through the gears, get into top gear here in 4th. As you see Eric Laurie giving a good push to that 25 out of turn 2, and then you're going to get the momentum swing back to the top side as they come down the backstretch here, Matt. Right now Gabe's working slowly but surely catching to that 25, and then again once they get to turn number 3, that shorter distance will promote the 25 a little further ahead. And then you get that drag race into turn number 3 and 4 down the front stretch to see who will lead lap number 1. It's going to be neck and neck, and lap number 1 will go to Kevin Freese. Will lead that lap by probably hundredths of a second, if not thousands there. And you can probably expect to see that for the finish of tonight's race as well. So Kevin going to knock that 1 lap off, get that bonus point lead. But I don't think we'll see him duck to the bottom here anytime. Because like I said, he likes to be up front controlling these races. So I do not, especially when you got a good pusher like Eric Laurie right behind you. So I expect to see Kevin just kind of cruise control here. As I wouldn't really call it that, but I just kind of cruising, I would say right now. in that 25. But yeah, I think Gabe, though, again, he's in a great spot in points, so I expect to see him at some point trying to get that lap lead. I'd be interested to see what Gabe does, though, when he gets that bonus point, if he tries to duck out of the way.
Yeah, same thing here. You know how typical Gabe does. Gets that lap lead, let that lap there.
Yeah, it was tight, and that's the thing, is it's so close you can never tell at the time. So yeah, so
2,000ths of a second.
So there you go. By 2,000 of a second, the one car gets a bonus point. But right now, it doesn't have anywhere he can go, and you never want to really go to the top to let everybody by, because it's always just a little bit risky here. So right now, it's pretty much exactly where we started off this race here, Matt. Pretty much everybody running exactly where they qualified. I'm looking at the timing scoring. There's a couple drivers that maybe +1, +2 based on where they qualified. But not a lot of movement as of yet here.
No.
So yeah, everybody's just kind of chill right now. I think just taking it easy, getting going. Say one driver who's moved up a couple of spots here and there as he kind of hits time in scoring is that 07 of Robert Dupont, who's had a great season so far. Just I say been so close to getting that win, just hasn't got that perfect finish yet. But I say that's the thing, you just got to keep putting yourself in those positions, and it might eventually happen. So that's exactly what Robert's going to do here. In that 07 car, and then looking down the field here, you got a couple guys just kind of cruise control, like I said, just playing it safe. I got the teammates here, I believe the 96 and the 69 here of Guy Bracco, Fuzz Yater. I believe I might be wrong on the teammates side of things, not 100% sure, but they're just cruising on back here. Robert Jordan as well in that 74. They're just waiting, kind of just biding their time here, kind of doing what we see a lot of TW Motorsports drivers do, which includes Randy Miner in that group as well. Just taking it easy here, I think. Like I said, there's just not... I don't think they're ready to make those big moves, those big risks yet.
All right. Now, so I see Gabe Butler. He ducked his way onto the bottom right in front of Kevin Freese. Now will we see Gabe drop to the apron of the racetrack and probably drop to the back of the field here?
That'll be a big question, and it looks like answer is so far no. He's going to stay with his teammate in that 071 of Eric Laurie, while Kevin Freese has picked up the 06 Cody Nagels, and Cody has definitely been the pusher tonight. As you see, once again, there Cody able to push Kevin to the point with it, like I said, an updated paint scheme in that 06. Really good looking car there for Cody. We'll have to get a closer look at it when we get the opportunity to. Right now, I see it's kind of like got a kind of a gold color to it on the side. Really good looking scheme.
I'm digging that one. Yes, that's a very sharp scheme there. Don't forget about his teammate though too.
Yeah, you're right. So you got some update there as well as the 18 of Zach Workman. We saw him rocking a couple paint schemes earlier. So he's down there on the, I believe that's that RBN, I believe, on the side of that number 18 machine. Same thing. Can't quite tell what the initials stand for on it. But I say it definitely looks to be NASCAR oriented. It's got kind of got the colors that we see with that NASCAR logo. So yeah, another really good looking paint scheme there. And be curious to see who did that one as well for them. And then also Vicente Guerrero in the 14. Working his way up there with the True Value car. So it looks like a little bit of chrome on that green as well, white and green there for that 14. So those Toyota Supras trying to get lined up here soon, it looks like. And those will be ones to watch. Is actually look at JD Crow. He's actually jumped up to the top. But while we were looking at all that, it looks like we had a little bit of a shuffle up front, because look at Tom Dixon now in that 411 here. He's actually got to the point here and actually looking for the 06 of Cody Nagels. There he is down on the inside. Okay, I was trying to find where Cody went. There he is on the fourth. Fourth on the inside line. You're right. Yeah, with his teammate here. But that's now allowed Tom Dixon in that 411 here to try to make a charge there, as he's getting great pushes here from Dean Wilkinson.
I'm looking at the back of that 18 car. It says Racing Brothers NASCAR Podcast. That's what that means.
All right, so we'll get some more info there. So what we'll do is we'll look out the back of Cody Nagels. Go get a good look at the back of his teammate of Zach Workman there. And you can see a good little view of the hood there on that number 18 machine there. And so right now things, like I said, still going after it here early and often. But like I said, Kevin Freese kind of doing what we kind of expected him to do, is stay up front, try to control this race here. And he's got a great lineup behind him. Like I said, I mean, we've talked about just how confident you probably are if you have a Kevin Freese or a Gabe Butler behind you. And that's exactly what Kevin's got. Saying you can see just how just organized those two are. You can even really tell where the one car was behind the 25. That's how well in line they were with one another. It's just so impressive to see.
Yes, one driver we haven't talked about is that 55 of Dean Wilkinson there. He's giving that big old 411 push. Dean is well known for being a great pusher. Let's see if we can probably push that 411 right in front of that 25.
Well, I was saying it was the push of Dean Wilkinson that was able to get Randy Meyer that win last week. So yeah, exactly right. So if you're that 411 here of Tom Dixon, you're feeling pretty good about having Dean as your pusher. As I say, the little bobble there.
Yeah,
but I mean, but I'd say that's the thing. At the same time, though, I mean, that's the risk versus reward. I mean, if you want to try to get to the front, you're going to have to handle some big pushes, and occasionally you might get a little bit off center, and that's where that risk is there. But again, the reward is like that 101 of Randy Meyer will vouch for. Is like, hey man, you take those risks, you get pushed to the win. That's a pretty good way to take that gamble. So right now, these guys, like I said, we're already on lap number 10 here underway. I'm gonna roll back a little bit here to David Overstreet in that number 68 Busch machine. He is currently 3 spots up from where he started. He's kind of now at the tail end of the double file line here. So these guys, like I said, they're starting to spread out just a little bit, trying to play it safe a little bit, I think, to kind of figure out where they would feel comfortable. And then you got Robert Rock in at 171. He's leading the 6 of Bud Steele, I think. Again,
that's just where I want to be.
Exactly. Right at the tail end of the double file, you save a little bit more fuel. You don't have to stress too much about anybody right to your outside. But yeah, so they got some good help there. Bud Steele's right there. David Bond.
Ooh, a little bit of a bobble up there up front. That's okay. He's got it. It was just a little bit of bob between the 411 and F25. Nice little catch there.
And that's the thing is they're pushing harder, man. I mean, they want to get around Kevin Freese, and that's why they're having to push so hard is because of how tough it is. Like I said, when that 25 and 1 get paired up, they're a very, very difficult duo to get around. You see Eric Laurie, actually, he said, you know what, I'm going to drop a little bit back here in the 071, but you should be able to tuck in right here behind Vicente Guerrero, and that's about the perfect spot for Eric here because you never want to have to be on the apron entering turn 3 here at Daytona. It's so much flatter compared to Talladega, so that was a great job at 071, able to get down there and get kind of where he feels maybe a little bit more comfortable as well. But with that, it's going to slow the momentum of that inside line just a little bit. And actually, I think what it is I think Eric's having a little bit of connectivity issues. You see they had a little bit of blinking out of that John Deere machine. So I think that's actually Eric playing a little bit of respect, saying, hey, I know my connection's a little off. I'm going to get to the back of this double file pack. I don't want to affect anyone's race right now. So just class act by Eric Laurie, which is, I mean, we've come to know him for a long time, and that's probably the perfect definition of Eric Laurie.
Yeah, Eric Laurie's tonight. The guy who, what did he get? Did he get a win or did he get a podium without a front clip of the car?
I believe a podium with the front clip missing. Yeah, exactly. Somehow held the draft and still able to do it. And unfortunately, Thursday he was kind of the one that took the hit for the team to help them make it to the end on a fuel mileage strategy there at the end. And so he was one that kind of did all the leading laps and unfortunately had to make a late pit stop. So he kind of took one for the team there. Able to get his teammates a top 3, 1, 2, 3 finish, I should say. So, like I said, he's also an amazing team player as well. And that's, again, I mean, it's something you want to have in your corner is that 071.
Mm-hmm. Can't be self-experience. Well, speaking of that, look at the 5.
Yeah, JD Crow dropping to the back here. Yeah, we'll see where JD's going to line in, probably right behind Eric. And yeah, there he goes. He slides up right in front. You saw the momentum shift though. The 171 and the 101. Oh no, yeah, I'm sorry. I was right the first time. 171 and the 6 there. They saw the momentum shift. They said, okay, let's jump top. Let's let JD get merged. And then we'll swing around him and kind of keep at that back of the double file line. So they don't want to drop too far back. So yeah, right now playing the strategy game pretty well here. And right now, actually, our highest climber as they run is the 68 we just talked about a moment ago of David Overstreet. He's worked his way up to the top line now, right behind the 07 of Robert Dupont. Those two definitely the highest climbers thus far, but again, still very early on in this race. But that being said, a little over halfway through the fuel run here, Matt. So probably, again, another 10 to 12 laps, I think. Actually, I'd say about 12 laps, let's say. Probably going to see pit stops starting to kick off there. And again, Kevin Freese at this point is pretty much a guaranteed will have to be one of the first ones to hit pit road, as he's been the one pretty much leading this entire time.
That and the 411 Dixon there. He's been hanging tough, running pretty much more track and leading the pack of the top lane. So pretty early.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen, I think, Matt, about the next 5-6 laps. At some point, we're going to see that second lane start to fizzle, and we're going to kind of see that yellow line just train, if you will. But that's where the opportunity starts to shine, though, with those guys that have been saving fuel. Again, I kind of point at the 171 Robert Rock, the 6 of Bud Steele, the 101 Randy Minor. When they start to back down their pace to get to the bottom, that's when those who do their fuel saving early make the charge to get back to the front when everybody else drops to the bottom. So to me, if you're not up front early, I save, and then you make that big charge late. So we'll see if that's anybody else having the same idea that I have. But right now, everybody's still playing it pretty calm and cool. And like I said, everybody's being pretty generous right now, giving plenty of space. But again, we're only on 16 of 78, so they're just waiting for that kind of, I think, waiting for the pit stops to make the big difference in this race.
It's still way too early to make some kind of, as you would say, wild moves, any make or break moments. You still got over not even halfway through it. But pit stops are going to happen here probably the next 4 laps.
And that's going to be the thing, I think, Matt, is the pit stops, I think, here at Daytona are much more crucial than Talladega. They're a lot more difficult to do. As we mentioned, the entry is pretty much similar. I'm not too worried about that one. But it's the pit exit. Again, a very, very flat apron here at Daytona compared to Talladega. So you really got to pedal it through turns 1 and 2. So that track also probably a little dusty on the apron as well, as nobody's ran on it for the race here tonight. So you're going to have to really kind of work the throttle, work the wheel, and try to keep it under that double yellow line. Because if you slide up before that blue cone you just saw for a split second, you will get a 40-second penalty there for an unsafe pit exit. So that is going to be a big one for these guys. They're going to have to be very careful about that pit exit here tonight. That's going to be a very difficult one, as we've seen from time to time compared to Talladega.
I don't think I've ever been a victim of that, but I have many other times. It will kill your race big time.
But yeah, you can see a little bit of a wobble still, kind of 55 and 411, just trying to stay lined up with each other. Haven't quite got exactly lined up how they're hoping to. And that's where you kind of see that side-to-side play. And that's where I mentioned, well, actually, let's go off the back of Kevin Freeze here. We're going to watch as he's got Gabe Butler behind, and just watch how little side-to-side play there is between these two cars. Like I said, it's as if the one driver is pretty much driving both cars. Yes, they're just so stable, so smooth, no little left to right juts here and there. It's just super impressive to see what these guys do. And good to see you over here, Chris. I know you got some road tripping going on, so hope you're doing definitely safe travels. And yeah, you can treat this like a podcast, but definitely no watching as the race unfolds here, man. So definitely wishing you a safe highway trip, and let us know you get there safe once you do. And I actually saw a little moment there that showed Bob Fitzgerald kind of ducking. I think had to get towards the pit lane there, just to maybe try to get a little bit of either breathing room or just try to find some clean air on the 08, as he's kind of just cruising at the back of the field here. These guys all still safely in the draft, but you can see though that second, or the 2x2 is starting to fade away little by little here. All these guys starting to drop to the bottom, trying to get ready to make sure that they don't get pinned outside on that once we get to that pit window.
Lap 19 and coming up to lap number 20.
Yeah, so I think 26, Matt's going to be the early magic number. Yeah, so I think the earliest we see drivers in is probably lap 26, and then we will, I think, see some drivers probably go a lap or two more. Probably, I think 26 to 28 to me is probably our pit window here tonight. 26 will be, like I said, that's probably going to be like a Kevin Freeze window, as he's been just pushing so hard this whole run. Zero fuel save going on out of that number 25 machine. But then those that have just been kind of on cruise control here, like I said, I watched some of those guys that have been down on the inside from the get-go. One that stands out to me there with a little bobble there on the inside line, David Bone in the 33 Skull car. I feel like he's been kind of just saving most of this run here. So I would watch for David as one that he could probably stretch it a little further, but he's got to have friends that are able to do the same. And so if he doesn't have the friends that can go further with him, he'll have to pit earlier, even if he doesn't want to, because you just cannot run any laps without a draft, or at least a significant draft. So it's just, you kind of live and die by the sword with having friends and helpers to pit along with you.
Yes, sir. I'm also looking at a couple of these drivers who've been running single file pretty much this whole entire time. Probably from Robert Rock on back, I think those guys have been saving fuel the most.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Robert Rock, Bud Steele, and Randy Minor are probably doing a lot of fuel saving. But I am seeing that second lane starting to form a little stronger here. But you can see, again, they're just not as established as you see right there. Again, just so much side-to-side play with everybody trying to stay lined up with each other. That's what's allowed this inside line to just kind of stay consistently ahead by about a car length or two, really. But yeah, I'm watching though that Les Levy's kind of joined that party here. He's trying to kind of push them up again a little bit in that 62. Robert Dupont's still there, but also adding Ivan Deschamps and David Overstreet there. So they're starting to grow about 6 cars strong here. But again, you can see kind of that left to right motions a little bit. That's always a little nervous there. And actually, we'll hop on the roof here of David Overstreet. We'll get a good view here of what he's seeing. As he's watching that 019, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You'll see kind of how they all snake around just a little bit here. It was the 411 actually up at the very front, very close. Oh, a little bit of contact there by the 68 and 019, but they both hang on to it. And we saw that from the onboard, but yeah, could have been a huge moment there that could have brought out the yellow, but you can see the rear end of the 019 definitely pushed in a little bit, which probably means the 68's nose might be a little crinkled as well, but it looks like it maybe got away with it. But that was a moment that could have been very, very bad there. But you're right, though, Matt. While we're watching, though, that 411 and 25 got awful close to each other out of turn number 4 here. So I think Tom Dixon's just trying to find a way. You can see, again, he's really starting to squeeze that second lane, or that inside lane down here. I think trying to get the momentum shift here, and also knowing, like, hey, I got to get to the bottom here soon to pit. But, I mean, Cody Nagel's, Zach Workman, I mean, they're not going to just, like, roll over and let him in here. So at some point, he's going to either have to try to clear Kevin Freese, or he's going to probably have to bite the bullet and drop back a little bit. So, again, I think probably about 2 more laps we'll see these drivers in for those that are in the front end of the pit stall or pit strategy side of things. And then, of course, then we'll see those that run that little extra further. So it's going to get busy here pretty soon.
Yep, I saw what I expected. I expected the 5 car, his teammate, to let him in there. And then I'm worried about Les Levy, the 07 55, and how are they going to get to the bottom of the track? Like you said, guys, they're going to have to bite the bullet and find their way to the bottom of the track, because they have about 2 or 3 laps left before they have to pit.
Yeah, unfortunately, you saw that contact between the 68 and the 019. You see the 019, he's actually lost the draft. You can also see the side damage on the right side from the contact up on the outside wall as well. So he's going to have to try to hope for maybe, again, he's probably going to hope for yellow, but maybe if he can get a really aggressive pit entry. But at this point, he's already 2.5 seconds back now of Robert Jordan. So he's going to need some help to get back into the thick of this thing. And right now, again, you can see the distance between the 411 and the 25 right now, and it looks like it's growing now to about 4 car lengths. And so now this is where Tom Dixon is going to try to find somewhere to squeeze in. I think right here, there he goes. He's going to pop in right in front of David Bone.
Oh, 3 wide here.
And that was, I think, a plan there with those two working together. And yeah, you're right, 3 wide for a moment. Dean Wilkinson having to roll back as well now. We'll see if he finds his teammates there of that 171, 101, I apologize, of Randy Minor, or maybe the 171 of Robert Rock. See if they get hooked up together. But yeah, here's that what we talked about, Matt. There's the kind of that yellow line train we're about to see. And so far, though, no takers wanting to jump up top and make that big charge before pit stops. But we're on 26 now here, Matt, coming to 27. So I'd be ready to watch these guys all make that sharp left on the pit road and start to split up and make sure they don't kind of run each other over on the entry.
I'm worried about Robert Dupont there. He's really stuck on that outside there.
All right, so we'll see coming out of 4. And, yep, here they come. We got 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so a big chunk of drivers hitting pit road. But now they all got to separate amongst each other. And so far, so good. Oh, the 74 just hangs on to a great save by Robert Jordan, just able to hang on to that car. Woo! But it's not over yet. Now they got to get in their pit stalls, Matt, because, again, you still can wind up kind of running each other over on accident through there. But we do now have, though, is it looks like a 3-car breakaway up front. We got 2 trying to chase them down. And then, unfortunately, Andy Bergante on the outside looking in there about 1.5 seconds back. So for here, Randy Minor, Robert Dupont, they got to push so hard right now, Matt, to catch up to Vicente, Zach, and Cody. And I think this was their plan from the get-go. They said, hey, we're going to do 1 more lap. We're going to push like hell, and then we're going to come in together. That way we can get a quick entry. You'll see them split each other up exactly how they want to. And then here comes Randy and Robert here. They're definitely hustling it in as well. And a good entrance for them as well, right
Nice
on
boys,
back there. So, yeah, they gained that time back.
awesome.
So, good job for them. And then Andy Brigante also in with them, which is going to now, we'll jump back up front, though, here, Matt, because Kevin Freese, he's won the race out of pit road. Let's look out the back because there's Gabe Butler. He's locked onto him. Then you got to go another 1.4 seconds to get back to Tom Dixon, who comes out in third. But they're going to have a solid group of cars here to catch back up. So I'll say it won't be a Gabe and Kevin
free show.
Yeah, no. Free show here. They're going to get caught eventually because they're about to have a 4-car pack start to catch them. Then you got to go about 1.5 back to Dean Wilkinson, Les Levy. But now let's jump back up to Zach Workman because here they come out of pit road. And we'll focus out the back of that number 18. But you can see these 3 drivers, they got out right together once again. And actually not too far back is Robert Jordan and Randy Minor as well. So they might be able to stay on together here as well. I think this is a net gain, net win, I'm going to say, for these Limitless drivers on that pit stop.
Yeah, I was looking to see where the 18 and compared to the 1 car. I say mission accomplished for Team Limitless there.
Yeah, here comes Kevin and Gabe. You see him peeking on the outside there. You see the Cornflakes car. But now the 3 of them, they get hooked up together. They're going to start to build up that speed here. And I don't know if those 2 cars together are going to have enough momentum to jump to the top. They're definitely going to try up. There goes Kevin. He's going to pop up top. Gabe's going to go with him. But it will be Zach Workman leading that lap. But now let's see, do those 2 cars in the 25-1, can they get around or not? Like I said, they got the full Limitless team lined up here, those 3 drivers, as they start to go side by side. But, oh, they're getting tight already here, Matt. Again, we still got
an inch already.
And here comes Tom Dixon as well, that 411. Like I said, that group is going to show up as well. So what we're going to have, it looks like here, is going to be about an 11-car breakaway from Kevin Freese and Zach Workman back to Eric Laurie. And then, unfortunately, those that just fell off the draft are going to be with Andy Brigante there. You can see him about 1.7 back. And then another 3 seconds back to Dean Wilkinson, who is leading a bunch of cars here from 13th all the way back to 21st. And then, unfortunately, Ivan Deshawn, we mentioned, he definitely lost the draft after the pit stop was all about a half a lap behind now. And so now this is the battle up front here, though, with these drivers, with the 18 and the 25 leading the charge.
I'm really, really digging this teammate battle between them and the boot knockers here. It's just fantastic racing.
Also looking at JD Crow, kind of thinking about that 3rd lane. Now he's going to drop back in line there. Wondering if he's maybe trying to get lined up with his teammates there in front of him with that 1 and the 25 and kind of have a 3-on-3 team battle between Boot Knocker and Limitless. And obviously, like I said, you've got Eric Laurie right there as well in the 071. Almost contact, it looked like, from the 411, and I think the 06 there. Everybody hangs on to it, but yeah, so right now these guys have kind of got all hooked up together. Looking at lap times, it was a 46.96 for Zach Workman. And then go back to Dean Wilkinson once they cross the line, and it was a 47.20, so about 0.3 slower. Actually, about 0.2, we'll say, actually slower for Dean compared to Zach. So, yeah, right now they're going to have to find some way to get a little more pace out of these cars to try to chase them back down. Right now it's about 5 seconds between them and the leaders.
Yeah, that's a big deficit they're going to have to hurt. Too bad Andy Brigante is all by himself.
Yeah, Andy's just waiting for those guys to get it. Say, there's the first pack, there's Andy, and then here comes that second pack right behind him as well. So, but yeah, right now these guys still fighting pretty hard here, Matt, tooth and nail. I'd say it kind of feels like to me. So then we got to talk about the non-boot knocker, non-limitless drivers, and say first up is going to be Robert Dupont in the 07 car. He's in a great spot there as well, along with Randy Minor. They did a great job, like I said, kind of keeping with that limitless group on pit road. That extra lap, I think, definitely was the right call for them. As you can see, actually, it looks like the 411's jumped to the top side. That 5 is going to jump into that 3rd position. Looks like Eric Laurie's going to actually jump in there as well. So Tom Dixon's going to fall to the back here. I think just bide his time here. I say he was pushing hard early. He said, all right, you know what? I pushed early. I'm going to back down here and just kind of relax a little bit. He's actually right behind David Bone there. I think those two working together in this evening. So we have 33 and the 411 drivers that will be working together, I think, if they get the opportunity to, which leaves those drivers that probably need to find a dancing partner as the 07 Robert Dupont, the 101 of Randy Minor. But last times, though, it's improving here, Matt. Dean Wilkinson, 47.02. Leader is 47.37, so about 0.3 of a second quicker for that second pack. So it's starting to close that gap just a little bit here. As you can see, they've also caught and passed that number. Where did he go?
Andy Brigante.
The 21, there he is. Yep, Andy Brigante. Yeah, so they caught and passed him. So now these guys are going to have to kind of keep that hustle going here, see if they can get to the back of Tom Dixon and start trying to chase him back down. But up front, though, Matt, staying just pretty much right door to door here, 2x2, the 18 and the 25. And so far, it's been Zach able to hold onto that lead as they've kind of completed a couple of these laps here. But not too far away, Matt, getting to that halfway point here in another 5 more laps.
Yeah, these boys up here up to the front, they are not giving an inch.
So what I'm going to do is let's hop on board here with Vicente Guerrero so we can jump on and you can see how little, let's say, I wouldn't say how much you can see, it's honestly it's how little you can see out of the front of these cars. Because for Vicente, he's going to stay, he's not going to push Cody, but he's going to stay pretty tucked up on him to try to keep that momentum built up. But pretty much what he's going to see is the rear sponsor, the rear spoiler, and then the yellow line on the inside, and that's pretty much all he has to work with. And at times you can see that yellow line actually even disappears a little bit. But things are going to get a little dicey here in just a minute, Matt, because here they come on that driver that lost the lead pack, and that is that 019 of Ivan Deschamps. So you're kind of in between a rock and a hard place here if you're Ivan, because if you go to the apron and let them all by, you're going to have to slow way down. But if you run the wall here, you got to make sure you don't make any mistakes and kind of bounce off the wall into the pack. So I say you never want to be that driver that's in a tough spot, but I say Ivan's got to just try to hold his line here up against the wall and let everybody sneak on by carefully and cleanly. And it looks like job going to be done. So great job there for Ivan. So now if he can tuck on the back of these guys, that's going to be another great opportunity for him to just stay the first car one down. But while that all happened, though, look at this, that outside line, Kevin Freese, he got around Zach Workman. He goes to the point, which now puts Gabe Butler leading that outside line with that 5 of JD Crow right behind him. But watch the 18, I think he's going to pop out if he gets it, and there he goes. But look at this, he's going to get ditched on the outside.
3 wide.
They're going to split him 3, and here comes Vicente.
You're not giving an inch, Kyle, I'm telling you.
So here they come into turn 3, Matt. One of the first 3 wide moves we've seen. JD Crow just clears, but can't clear the 25. He's going to stay in the middle. But look at Gabe go from the middle to the top, back to the bottom. Big move by that one car.
Eric Laurie just got.
Yeah, and Eric Laurie's kind of left holding the tab there at the end.
But as you said, Kyle, he made another team sacrifice.
And that's exactly it. It was Eric was you have to kind of you need at least, to me, probably at least 3 cars to kind of keep that momentum built up from the 2 in front of you. And so now you get the 1 and 25. They've hooked up again, but what they've done is they've kind of split up the Limitless guys. Now they're trapped side by side with each other, but that also you've got the boot knockers kind of controlling both lanes now as well. The top in the middle, the bottom in the middle. At some point, obviously, we'll see that third lane, but for now. Really not a lot of options for these guys unless they both want to try to jump to the outside of that 5 car of JD Crow, which we could see maybe Zach and Vicente try to do. Obviously for Cody, he doesn't have any options right now as he's kind of pinned to the bottom here. But yeah, right now you got these guys that are fighting tooth and nail, and then again you've got these other guys that are saying, you guys do all this hard work, I'm just going to keep saving fuel and just stay in this main draft here. But man, look at the lap times though. These guys have stepped up their pace, because that last time by they ran their fastest laps of the race, man. It's 46.56 for Gabe Butler, and they've actually separated themselves from that second pack now being led by Andy Brigante. It was 47.07 for Andy, and you can see they've actually switched from single file to double file. And there are 2 trains of thought on this here, Matt, which is the faster way to race if you want to race single file and kind of just in a big line, or double file. Because there's the thought that the double file it punches a bigger hole, they think, and so it kind of allows you to go a little faster if you stay nicely organized. I don't know which is the right call. It probably also depends on the group you're working with. So you can see again a little bit too much movement for my taste. Kind of that side to side. They gotta really stay kind of lockstep with each other, and that's what we talked about. That's why we watched the 1 and the 25. We'll go back to them again. Just watch how little movement there is. You can see Kevin Freese. He's got a lot of movement in his wheel here. Just that little adjustments left and right there, but really minimal movement left to right of the 1 car. And that's what makes these guys so good. And if I'm not mistaken here, it looks like Kevin's kind of going a little formal here. I think a tuxedo behind the wheel of that number 25 machine. So I'll say Kevin looks like might have a wedding or something to attend right after this one. So he's gonna. That's why he's probably being so aggressive, is he's got somewhere to go after this. As we just cross the halfway point there, Matt completing lap 39, going to a 40. So we're getting to it though, Matt. It's another, again, we talked about the fuel window. These guys going about 26, 27 laps. That means these guys are going to be coming in again in about 12 to 14 more laps if that window sticks. So that's going to be, again, lap 52 to 54. And that would get these drivers to the end. Plus minus, of course, that green-white checkered potential. But right now it's pretty much these guys up front that have kind of controlled this thing. And I'm snuck away because that second pack has not been able to catch back up. So
yeah.
That being said, let's not ignore those guys on back, because right now you got Dean Wilkinson, Les Levy trying to lead that inside lines charge with Bud Steele right behind him. And then on the outside line, you've got the 21 and the 68, Andy Brigante and David Overstreet. And then we mentioned the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald. To say Bob is just one of those drivers really, I think, notorious for just kind of trying to keep that car clean, waiting for the right time and place to make those big moves here. And just unfortunately lost the main pack in that first pit stop, but right in the thick of it with these guys. And we saw these guys at the beginning started towards the back there, the 69 and the 96 of Fuzz Yater and Guy Bracco. And then you got Robert Jordan and Robert Rock kind of tailing the last of this group here. So we've pretty much got two packs completely right now. And unfortunately, we mentioned Ivan Deschamps. He did hold on to that main pack in the 22nd spot, but he did stay with the main pack, so he's not having to fall back any further. So that's a great opportunity for Ivan here, just to, again, same thing, kind of save fuel, stay with these main guys. And then if we stay green to that second round of pit stops, you pit with them, try to stay with them, and same thing, just try to stay with that group and not lose that draft once more.
I tell you what, Gael, I'm not a fan of what these boys are doing back here, because they're just wasting time right here. It seems like Andy is getting pushed by the 68 there. It's just, and they're just pretty much going nowhere. So if I was the 62 and the 55, if I was the 62, I would push the 55 so I was burning up, and then have the 55 drop to the back. But they're not in communication with each other, so how should I know that?
Yeah, they'd have to kind of like try to organize it. You're right, through the iRacing drivers channels, if you will, is the best option. And the thing is, though, I mean, it's not like they're running terrible laps, man. It's just they're like 2 to 3 tenths off a lap compared to what the leaders are doing. It's just the fact that these guys are running at such a torrid pace that it makes it hard. And it's any little deficiency just escalates it and kind of just amplifies how much it looks like you're maybe doing the wrong things. And that's what makes it so hard to win at this level with these guys, because they are some of the best super speedway racers that I've been a part of to watch and sometimes to race with. Like I said, I mean, there's times where it just seems like those guys are just in the same mindset. Like they don't even need to be in the same Discord or talk to each other. They just know what the other one's going to do just by experience.
Instinct.
I say, obviously, the two of them I know you miss. I say I'm kind of in the same boat. I'd love to see them back on track, as well as that 01 of the 02, the Groover brothers, because those two, I say, it was just the two of them, but they were monsters together. And it's same thing as just the two of them. They were so talented, even though it was just when there was just the two of them. So it's, and they're the same way. I mean, of course, them being twins, you kind of wonder if they had that little extra special connection there as well. But they were fun to watch. I've seen one of them chime in for our broadcast from time to time. So it's like definitely enjoyed having them with us, and love to see them back on track here in the future. But yeah, right now though, these guys still holding pretty steady. Do need to mention right now, Matt, our highest climber currently, the 101 there of Randy Miner in the 8th spot. He is plus 11 from where he started. The next closest is Vicente Guerrero in the 6th spot, who is plus 8. So right now these guys, so again, there is a bonus point for that highest climber, but right now obviously pole position bonus point went to the 25 of Kevin Freeze. We know there's been some laps led by the 1, by the 25, by the 06 and the 18, I believe it is. So let's say those drivers have bonus points, and of course another extra for leading the most laps. And of course the big one though, Matt, if you can stay incident free here, 0 incident points throughout the course of the race, you get 3 bonus points. So that's also incentive for these guys not to go too crazy yet, as again we still have a few more laps before we get to that pit window here, as we're going to come across to start lap 46 this time by.
Seth Gruber, if you're out here watching, come on out here and show me something, buddy. I want to see you brothers back out here again. You guys are phenomenal. You guys are like my favorite racers to watch.
And also selfishly help the green white checker viewership, because Mom was always a dedicated viewer. Loved having Mom watching and rooting on her boys.
Yes,
that was a lot of fun too. So, so I mean, I know there's a couple guys viewing us. I know Kevin was in here earlier, Boomer and Chris. Always love having you guys watching and supporting us. So definitely don't feel shy. Feel free to chime in and chat along with us here if you have any questions, any insights. We always love to try to interact with you all as much as we can in these races. So it makes it more fun for us, and hopefully it makes it more enjoyable for you all as well. Because we definitely want to kind of try to keep going. Oh, we got caution in the back here.
Oh boy.
And I think that those drivers going a little more aggressive. Unfortunately, wound up catching a couple of them. It's going to be Guy Bracco that looks like gets the worst of it here. So that's going to throw us under yellow here, Matt, which will be outside the fuel window. But we'll definitely change the complexion of this race. So let's go back and try to find where this all occurred. We're going to focus on, I believe, the number 69 of Guy Bracco. You can see him there. So let's take a look as they come out of turn number 4. And he just kind of drifts off the bottom, unfortunately. Nothing really Andy Bergante could do there. And then, it's a pretty big contact for the two of them. You see it down the inside, Robert Rock taking no chance. He cuts it straight to the left, as is that 74 there of Robert Jordan. And so those two is where the contact occurred, which brings this first yellow out for tonight. So I'm the beneficiary there for me, Matt, on this one. Right here, that 019 of Ivan Deschamps. He is going to get his lap back. He gets right back into the thick of this thing, as he was the only driver one down. And so we'll jump back up front, because it's about to be pit stop time as Gabe catches the pace car. And we're going to have all these drivers here rolling on the pit road. Probably, I would say, the pit strategy is going to be interesting here. 2 tires, 4 tires, fuel only. Because, again, at this point, I don't think you can make it to the end here, Matt, without a lot of yellow. But we've seen guys try to... Thursday night was the craziest fuel strategy I've seen in a long time with Area 51. I'm trying to look at the fuel numbers here. They're going to come in at 30 to go, which means I think they'll restart this race with 28 laps to go, Matt. Some drivers, short. I don't know. Some drivers ran 27 laps, Matt. I think you could make it here to the end if you top off on that 1 to go and you stretch 1 extra lap. I think somebody could pull off the fuel mileage victory tonight. So we'll see what we get here. I think we'll see all these drivers hit pit road this first time, and I think we will see a lot of drivers top off that second time by.
Most definitely. I would be coming in probably taking all tires and then coming back in and just top off. There goes Ivan. Getting his lap back here.
So now watching that race off of pit road here, and it looks like Kevin Free is going to win the race off. And so it looks like different pit strategies here for some of these drivers. And also wondering maybe a few drivers possibly short filling their cars a little bit, because you had on the pit lane time, or not pit lane time, sorry, the pit stall time. A lot of guys were in about the 8 or so second bracket. However, Gabe Butler, he had an 11-second pit stop. But I'm wondering here, Matt, maybe Gabe leading all those laps, maybe he had to actually plug in that second can to fill it full of fuel. So maybe just unfortunate was kind of being up front was almost too good of a situation for that one car. So we'll see here. But like I said, what we know, though, for sure is Kevin Freeze wins that race off pit road. And we also know the 019, he gets his lap back and get back on the lead lap. We'll see him hit pit road this time around. So I'm going to do, Matt, those. Let's say we've gone caution free here. Let's take a break here. Let's get some water, and we'll be back again on that 1 to go. So stay tuned, everyone. All right, so you see the front 2 rows stayed out. From 5th on back, went ahead and topped off here on that one to go. So Kevin Freeze going to lead the charge on those. Saying Kevin Freeze was not shy about it at all. He does not like fuel mileage races. However, I say when your hand is dealt, your hand is dealt. So Kevin Freeze, I like this call here. He's going to, like I said, gets a little more fuel in. Of course, this is all pending us getting caution-free to the scheduled distance. However, if we get green-white checkers involved, I think at that point, pretty much everybody's going to have to come back and get a splash of fuel. So, front row going to be J.D. Crowe, Gabe Butler. Row 2 going to be Robert Dupont and Eric Laurie. And then Kevin Freeze going to round our top 5 here, Matt, as we're going to get back to it at 28 to go. Again, right on the edge of the field window. We got a handful of drivers still trying to catch the field here. This is going to really catch a few drivers out. Vicente Guerrero won, Guy Bracco, Ivan Deschamps as well. So unfortunately, these guys are really going to be hurting here. But now they got to be careful about this accordion on the restart because, again, so many drivers single file as we get back to green here. 28 laps remaining. I think we're going to see some teammates get to the line. Yep, there they go. The 1 and the 071. They're going to clear the 5, get to the inside, and they're going to lead this inside train. And now the question is going to be who's willing to be aggressive. Because, again, I think a lot of these guys say, all right, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to have to ride for 28 laps here to try to make it to the end without pitting again. If there's a caution, that would change everything. But you see at the back there, the 019, unfortunately, losing the draft on that restart. Just didn't get caught back up. Same thing goes for that 69. And yeah, something going on for Vicente. He's on pit road here. Not sure, maybe a pit penalty or something for the 14. But he's unfortunately on pit road serving whatever's going on there. So tough break for Vicente. That's going to drop him a lap. But right now up front, you've got the top 3 boot knockers. And then you got the 07 Robert Dupont in 4th. Kevin Freeze in 5th. And right now, Les Levy, the first of those, trying to work that outside line because I don't think they want to sit and ride here. Looks like he's about to get some help from that 68 of David Overstreet and the 101 of Randy Minor.
Yeah, I had no idea why Vicente got that little ordeal there. I'm puzzled.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options. Unfortunately, I'd say it could have been an unsafe pit entry or passing under pit entry, things of that nature. So, not sure, unfortunately, but yeah, not what he was hoping for there because right now he is a lap down. But he does have some help, so at least it'll limit some of the damage at least a bit here with that 69 of Guy Bracco. And also Ivan Deschamps on pit road here as well. So I'm wondering if Ivan also maybe a pit penalty for that 019. He was our lucky dog. So gets his lap back and then unfortunately goes straight back into pit road and then having it looks like get stuck a lap down once again. So just not the night for that number 019 so far this evening, but that second lane starting to form a little better here, starting to make a little bit of a charge though. Les Levy leading the way there in that 62.
Oh, unsafe pit exit. Unfortunate.
Yeah, still sitting on pit road as well. So right now leaders are about a half a lap ahead of the 14 of Vicente Guerrero as well as the 69 of Guy Bracco. But again, right now still lots of racing left here, Matt. 25 laps to go. We're still, again, right on the absolute edge of the fuel window. But looking at lap times, they haven't really backed the pace down much. Gabe Butler's best laps of 46.56. He's right now running a 46.88. He's talked a lot about maybe trying to repay some of his teammates back and kind of help them where they've helped him and so on and so forth. Maybe this is where he's like, you know what? I'm going to be the one to take the fuel hit for you guys. You guys just follow me. You save fuel off of me because right now I'm looking really good on the playoffs. And so that way, if we stay green to the end, that way you guys should have the fuel to make it to the finish. But right now, though, a lot of these guys, they're not thinking about that because right now Les Levy, he wants to get to the front in that 62 there as he's got that 68. There's a little bit of contact there on the entry. You see a big reaction by the 68 as well. Yeah, you see Kevin Freeze, he had to react as well. Wasn't sure if something was about to happen there. And that's the risk, though. You start to maybe side draft a little too much and it just gets a little hairy. So these guys have to kind of regroup, catch their breath again, and get back after it here. Because, again, we still got 24 to go here. So they don't need to push too hard, too much yet. But, again, I think some of these guys, they want to have that track position because if there is a yellow, I think we do see maybe I think we actually would see a split decision of drivers pitting and those that would stay out to try to keep that track position. So, but right now you can see Les Levy, he's gotten alongside the one, and David Overstreet is giving him everything he can handle here for that push to the front.
Good to see Les Levy up toward the front. Such a good dude.
Yeah, you can see on the back of Les Levy, he says he wants to go fast, and that's exactly what he's doing because he's getting that push to the front here. He's got just a nose ahead, not enough to clear the one yet, but might have an opportunity here entering turn number 3.
Yeah, he's got him clear right now.
And there he goes. He's going to drop to the bottom. And yeah, I think Gabe probably rolling out of it. And there's 68. He's going to drop down too. And not a bad call from Gabe because now it's like, well, hey, I'm just going to... Oh, actually, look at this. They're going to hit pit road here. So they're going for an alternate strategy here. They just say, you know what? We're just going to get our pit stop over with early here. So expect a splash of fuel for these two on pit road now, the 62 and the 68. They said, you know what? We're going to pit early, but I worried that only 2 drivers might not be enough to kind of make that plan work there. I think you probably want to have at least 3 or 4 to do so. But right now you can see now Gabe Butler once again leading here, but as I say, Randy Miners without help is staying alongside that one car, but Gabe can't roll off enough to let the 101 in because if he does, they'll just cause a huge accordion. They'll all wind up in kind of in the wall there. So unfortunately for Randy, was in a good spot and then he lost all his help, but he's now going to have to try to find somewhere to sneak back in line. And for Gabe, that just means he's going to keep doing that, kind of being the one to push the line and kind of burn his fuel up to try to maybe help his teammates here. And so, yeah, looking at Les Levy, David Overstreet, about 6-second pit stops for those two, Matt. So definitely just a splash of fuel. Unfortunately, they aren't quite close enough. I was hoping that maybe they could catch the 14 of Vicente Guerrero, the 69 of Guy Bracco. That way they could have a 4-car draft, but unfortunately they fell back too far from them. So that isn't going to come into play here. So, yeah, so unfortunately they're going to fall a ways back.
Yeah, this is really going to hurt their chances, unless in case a yellow does come out.
And once again, poor Randy Miner just cannot find anybody to let him in here. He's trying to find a gap somewhere. Actually, look at Gabe Butler. He said, you know what? I'm going to jump to the top here. Interesting by Gabe. I think he's decided, you know what? I've led enough here. I'm going to drop to the back. And he's going to drop to the back. Look, he's going to go up to the 3rd lane here, let that 101 on by. And, yeah, it looks like he has no interest of being up front here. So now it's Eric Laurie that's going to take over that drafting duties. And it's kind of like Thursday night for those that were watching Thursday night's race. It's kind of the same thing again. It's kind of nobody wants to lead. It's just someone's going to get forced into it. And right now it was Gabe Butler. Now it's Eric Laurie. Gabe has fallen back to the 10th position here behind the 33 of David Bone in front of the 74 of Robert Jordan. So, yeah, so this is definitely turned into a fuel mileage race here, man. There goes Eric Laurie. He said, nope, I don't want to lead this thing either. I'm going to go up and get out of the way here. So, yeah, this is going to be the race of who doesn't want to lead this thing, which is we've seen it before on Thursday. It's a very weird feeling to have everybody kind of dropping to the back and said, yeah, I don't want any part of this. You guys go right on ahead. And he's going to probably slot in the same thing right behind David Bone, right in front of Gabe Butler, and that's exactly what he does. Now let's watch JD Crow. Does JD say the exact same thing? Maybe he jumps to the top, and all the while Randy Miner he just wants someone to let him in.
You know, I'm thinking here. I really think these guys can't make it on fuel. I think it's like really, really super close.
Someone's going to make it. I was skeptical Thursday. I'm not going to... They proved me wrong. I'm not going to let them prove me wrong again. Someone for sure, if we stay green, will make it. And we have... I mean, that's the thing is we have 17 drivers, Matt, that have a chance to do it between J.D. Crow all the way back to Fuzz Yater here. So, I mean, we have a lot of people that can make it happen. I mean, again, here's the pace as slowing down as it has. They're almost 48-second lap the last time by. And you can see the accordion. I think J.D. Crow's trying to let Randy Miner in, but they're so stacked on each other that they're going to wind up wrecking if he slows down any more. And that's exactly why that 101 just can't quite get through. And so, yeah, this is just basically, this has become a race of just trying not to do it. And you see, look at JD. There he goes. He actually gets it to happen. Randy Miner's going to take the point here. But again, though, this is just down making Randy burn all his fuel in that 101. But again, the one potential silver lining is if he's up front here and we get a late yellow or something along those lines, then they all would have to pit anyway, and maybe Randy Minor could lead the field on the pit road and keep all that track position that nobody else wants to have right now. So Matt, this is a good option. Let's run through the field here, sir. So we're going to go up front. We're going to start with Randy Minor in that number 101, who is plus 18 leading this race. Behind him is JD Crow in that number 5 machine. Again, I say the question mark is going to be fuel for all of these drivers, obviously, tonight. In third is Robert Dupont in that 07. Fourth, Kevin Freese, our pole sitter tonight, in that number 25. And then rounding out that top 5 is the 18 of Zach Workman. Then 6th or 10th, in 6th, we have Cody Nagel in that number 06 machine. Running his car number, that's about what you plan it. Tom Dixon in the 411 sits in 7th. And then we have David Bone in 8th in that number 33 Skull machine. And then in 9th is Eric Laurie in that 071 John Deere machine. And rounding out our top 10 is that number 1 of Gabe Butler. Let's continue on to 11th spot. Setting for Robert Jordan as well, still holding plus 9 from where he started there. Dean Wilkinson is in the 12th position here. Again, you can see all the gaps. These guys just saving fuel. Same thing, Robert Rock, that 171, sitting in 13th spot. 14th, 6th of Bud Steele. And then 15th is that 08 of Bob Fitzgerald. And then you get to the last 2 drivers in this main pack here. Andy Brigante in 16th. And then in 17th is Fuzz Yater. And then these drivers on the tail end of the lead lap currently, that 69 of Guy Bracco working with that 14 of Vicente Guerrero here. They're not doing any fuel saving. They're just going to push as hard as they can, try not to get lapped. And then you got Les Levy as well doing the short pit strategy in the 62. Same for the 68 of David Overstreet. And then unfortunately those a lap or more down, including that 14 of Vicente Guerrero and the 019 of Ivan Deschamps, who you see is up on the top there, letting everybody on by. Hopefully he'll tag onto the back mat. And that is our field here this evening as Randy Minor continues to lead. And I said, I think we're going to see this train here for probably at least another 10 laps, Matt, because, again, I don't think anybody wants to make any moves here. So I said Randy Minor probably enjoying a little bit of this extra TV time, though.
I tell you, I'm watching the lap times between the leaders. They have really backed down this pace. They're running 48.2s. That's awfully slow.
Yeah, I'm looking around trying to find the fastest lap of the race. I think it might currently be David Bone in the 33 car. He ran a 46.37. So, yeah, these guys are running about 2 seconds off what their best laps are. And again, it's just based on when the caution fell. It's unfortunate sometimes those are the cards you're dealt, and so it's okay. Well, do I back it down? Do I push real hard and try to do the short pit? We've obviously seen 2 different options on that one. Les Levy, David. Oh, we got trouble in the back here. This could bring out a yellow and change everything, but they'll stay going here. So no yellow here. But let's go see back really quick what happened to Fuzz Yater. Looking at that 96 car, I think that accordion effect may have just gotten to the back of that 96 here. You can see him out on the he's actually at the back of the group here, and actually I'm too far back. I apologize. Let's go back once more. Let's do this one here. There's the context. Let's back it up here and take a better look at it. And it kind of looks like a little bit of netco, but yeah, it kind of seems like to me the 96 kind of drifted up into the 019 there. Kind of an odd situation. But the fact that they're both at the back of the field, they're able to keep it under green here. So unfortunately for the 96, he is on pit road now, which leaves us now 19 drivers on the lead lap and 16 in this main pack as that yellow line train continues down here, as we have now 12 to go here. And so, all right, so anybody who's watching who's maybe kind of being quiet right now, say this is going to be another potential fuel mileage race if we go green to the end. So right now, again, top 5, Randy Minor, JD Crow, Robert Dupont, Kevin Freese, Zach Workman. Then Cody Nagel, Tom Dixon, David Bone, Eric Laurie, and Gabe Butler are top 10. Who do you think has the fuel mileage to make it to the end? Can anybody make it to the end? And Matt, what about you, sir? What are you thinking here? Do you think anybody's going to do it? And if so, who do you think it's going to be?
Gaia, there's many drivers to make it, but I got my eye on one particular car, and he has not got a win here yet. And you know how I like first-time winners. I'm watching that 18 car, Zach Workman.
Zach is in a good spot. He's also got a teammate right behind him of Cody Nagel, so that's about the best opportunities you can have. I'm actually watching the car right in front of him, Kevin Freese in that Kellogg's car. I feel like he just experienced this on Thursday night. He was able to get a top 3 finish as well. Didn't quite get the win he was hoping for, but Kevin's been, he's one of the ones that topped off, and I think actually he's the first of those that had topped off. So right now, between Randy Minor, Randy Minor, Robert Dupont, JD Crow, those drivers did not top off on the one to go. Kevin Freese is the first of those that did. So I feel like Kevin Freese is learned from Thursday night. He knows exactly how to save the fuel, as we saw. I mean, we saw him saving fuel from the warm-up lap as well. In that 25, the question will be if he has any help at the end, because like you said, though, that's going to be the bonus for that 18 is he's got his teammate in the 06 lined up behind him. So this could be a very intriguing finish here. We're at 10 to go here, Matt, so we're about to go single digits next time by. And again, I mean, I'm looking also, you look right behind those two Limitless drivers, you got Tom Dixon, David Bowen, they're lined up together. I believe those two drivers are working together here as well. You got the Team Extreme there of the 411 and then the Skull of the 33. And then you got a couple boot knockers there with the 071 and the 1. So there are a lot of teammates here lined up here. The question is, who's got the fuel to make it to the end? So we're down to it, though, Matt. 9 to go, and we'll see if we stay green to the end. This is going to be very interesting.
You know, my next question is, who is going to be the first driver to make that move up toward the top lane? Who's going to be it? Who's going to make the move?
I'm going to say it's your pick. I'm going to say it's the 18 of Zach Workman. He makes the first move to try to get to the top and get that, maybe try to keep Kevin Freese pinched to the inside. And keep that momentum built up. But the problem is, I don't know when you can safely do it. I think you probably got to wait till 2 to go, maybe even the white flag. I think these guys are literally saving just every ounce of fuel. But as I say that, actually, there you go. Kevin Freese, he's going to be the first to the top here. And I'm wondering if that's Kevin saying, you know what, I think I got the numbers now to make it here with 8 to go here at the line. So far, nobody going with him, though. I was watching JD Crow see if he'd hop up there, but he does not. So we're going to have a similar situation. Actually, I think JD's trying to build an opening here for Kevin to drop on down, possibly. But I think Kevin's got other things other thoughts in mind here. I think he wants to get to the front and lead this pack. And there goes JD. He's going to pick up that 25. So actually, here goes Kevin Freese. He decided, let's do it here. They're going to go after it. So, Kevin's agreeing. He thinks Zach Workman's a great opportunity. He thinks he might be the one to watch. But there goes Kevin. He's now taking the point in this race with JD Crow behind him. So 8 to go here, coming to 7 to go, Matt. Is this too soon, or is this maybe some of these drivers said, you know what, I can't make it. You know what, I'm just going to go, and maybe I can run the rest of these guys out of fuel.
Me knowing Kevin, as long as I do, I think maybe either number one, he ran out of patience. He just not like hanging back. You know how he likes to run up toward the front. Excuse me. Or he's probably either helping the 5 car and the rest of his teammates out. I think him pulling out is just a little bit too early. That's just my opinion.
Well, that's what I'm wondering is maybe if he doesn't think he can make it to the end, even with everything he was doing, I think he's saying, you know what, I'm going to pick the pace of this race up where I'm going to try to run everybody out of fuel, where we all have to take a splash of fuel to the end. Because we're coming around here. I'm looking at the lap times.
Yeah,
Matt.
They just picked up a bunch.
They were running 48.5s, 47 flat this time for the top 2. And this is going to make these guys decide, okay, do I want to push or do I want to back it down? So right now, everybody's decided to stay with the 25. Nobody's fallen off the back. But now I'm going to go back here, Matt. Remember those two that short pitted way earlier, Les Levy, David Overstreet? They're still together. They're still committed to their game plan. The question will be, have they lost too much time with just the 2 of them versus the big pack here, even though they've been backing down the pace? So if everybody else has to pit still, maybe with 2 to go, let's say we're coming to the white, does this maybe open an opportunity for Les Levy, David Overstreet to make some big late race gains for these guys? So this is going to be very, very interesting because we're down to it here, Matt, though. We're 5 to go, so these laps have been clicking off. So Kevin Freese continues to lead. Again, was that Kevin Freese saying, I got my fuel number to the end, I'm ready to go, let's push? Or is it Kevin Freese saying, I'm never going to get my fuel number, I'm just going to push and try to run everybody else out of fuel? it's going to be very fun to see what the right strategy is, because everybody's been picking up their pace. Nobody's backed down their pace to try to save fuel anymore. As last time by, actually, the 21 Andy Berganta, he ran the fastest lap of the race at 46:32, and again another 47 flat for the top two in the 25 and the 5. So this is this is kind of almost exactly like it was on Thursday, where it's about 5 to go. They kind of just turned the taps open and said, all right, let's go. But is that because they got the fuel number, or is that because they said we can't make it? So we're going to find out here, though, Matt, because we're down to 4 to go. Here comes the limitless guys. They popped up top. That's going to be Zach Workman, Cody Nagel. And so either they said, okay, now we're in our fuel window, we're going to make our big charge for it, or they're thinking the same thing, okay, we got to pit too, and we're going to have to try to pit from as far up as we can. But I think these guys are figuring out, I think they decided they can make it now, and they decide now it's time to push.
I think you're absolutely right. They hit their number. I'm actually getting some insider info that a lot of these drivers are good to go on fuel.
Yeah, I think it's exactly.
Oh wait, we got one driver coming in. That's
Randy Miner. Yeah, Randy Miner, and I expected that, to truth be told, because again he was leading for so much of that run. So I didn't think he was going to have the fuel to make it. What we have right now is kind of a little 2-horse breakaway here. I guess 4-horse breakaway here for 2 rows there, the 25, the 5, the 18, and the 06. So like I said, you got Bootknocker, Limitless right now, but it's like here come those other drivers. You got Team Extreme of Tom Dixon working his way up behind Robert Dupont.
Oh, man.
So do we see a third lane start to form here? We'll see.
I'm watching Robert. He's just sitting there just kind of like laying back. Either he's short on fuel, really tight on fuel,
or maybe he thinks these guys might run themselves out. But here comes the field, though. Everybody's turn up the wick here, though, because Matt, we're down to it, 2 to go at the line. This time by Zach Workman had the lead in the 18. We'll see if anybody sputters on fuel in these final 2 laps, or if they can all make it to the end, and can we get to that white flag? Because if we get a yellow before we get the white, Matt, we're gonna have to do extra racing here in overtime. So don't count it out. These guys,
that would be brutal,
and that would be killer for some of these guys. There goes David Bone. He goes the inside here, picks up the 25 and the 5, and the 74. He's gone to the top between the limitless guys. So they've stayed 2 by 2 here. Nobody's taking the third lane yet. But I'm watching Dean Wilkinson. I think once we get that white, that third lane will come into play here, and we're getting to the white here this time around, Matt. So far, here goes JD Crow. He had to pit, could not make it to the end. That's going to slow the inside line.
Kill the momentum on the inside line.
And here it is. White flag is out. Right now, Zach Workman clears the 25. Does he stay up top? Does he stay or does he go in front of the 25? He's gonna drop in front of the 25 now. Do any of them have the field to the end? Look at the 74. He's trying to think about that third lane here. But these guys are pushing hard. And again, if someone sputters, this could be terrible for the rest of the field. This is anybody's guess right now here as we go down the back final time.
Wow. If the 25 gets a chance, he's probably going to jump up top right in front of the Cody Nagel. But
a little bobble.
Pushed the 2018, got a little bit of loose on the bottom. But here we come now, turn number 4.
Out of 4, Kevin Freeze is going to jump top. Is it enough? Will anybody sputter across the line? It's going to be tight at the line.
Who is it? Zach?
It might be Kevin Freeze. We're gonna have to go to we're gonna have to see. I can't say for sure. We're gonna go back and we're gonna look at the monitor, wait for the final results to show, because right now we've got triple zeros there. We got Cody Nagel's finishing 3rd, David Bone and Robert Jordan are top 5. But I'm not sure if it's the 18 or the 25. They're still staying side by side here, so I don't know. I'm waiting for everything to update here, so give us a moment. Because I don't want to spoil this one, but the way they're driving here, it's looking like the 18 feels like he's got the win here, the way he's driving around the track. So I'm waiting for our official results to pop up, because sometimes our timing and scoring is not exact and just hasn't popped up for us yet. So let's wait and see. And well, let's see. I say the 20 or the 18's driving down here. Let's go back to Kevin Freeze. He's driving back down there as well. I don't know here, Matt. I say neither driver are acting as if they won this thing, so give us a moment. I'm still waiting for these results to tally. Unfortunately, I think there's a few cars still waiting to finish.
I think Kevin Freeze has got it by 0.003 of a second.
There. Okay, here we go. Here are our final results. We can find our official winner for the evening. And you are correct, Matt. It is Kevin Freeze by 0.03 of a second over Zach Workman. Cody Nagel does indeed finish in third. And then you got David Bone, Robert Jordan, our top 5. And then Dean Wilkinson, Bud Steele, Robert Rock, Robert Dupont, Tom Dixon, our top 10. And then Andy Bergante, Gabe Butler, Bob Fitzgerald, and Eric Laurie, our top 14. They're able to stay in the main draft. And unfortunately, the late pit stops there, J.D. Crow actually still able to stay ahead of Les Levy and David Overstreet, so great job there by J.D. still able to stay ahead of those guys. The gamble by Les and David did not pay off, unfortunately. Randy Minor finishes in 18th. And we'll get to our final finishers here tonight. Guy Bracco, Vicente Guerrero, Fuzziator, and Ivan Deschamps in 22nd. And then unfortunately, Jimmy Crow Jr. did not start tonight, but it will be listed in 23rd tonight. Oh my goodness, Matt. So they made it happen, and both of our picks there, man. 1-2 there. So you thought the 18 was going to get the win. I felt like the 25 had it. And I mean, 0.03 of a second, what it all comes down to in the end. Just amazing job by these guys. So that being said, though, Matt, we got to talk to our top 3. So we're going to kick things off first with our third place finisher, who will be the 06 of Cody Nagel. So let's pull Cody on in over here and get a word. As he's got a good looking 06 paint scheme tonight in that car. So Cody bringing in home in third, started in fourth. And man, that the timing of that caution, I mean, I don't know if that's something that you were happy about, upset about, because I mean, it kind of puts you guys in a box where you pretty much had to save fuel, kind of exactly what we saw happen on Thursday with the trucks, where it's just right on the absolute edge of the fuel number. How tough is it for you to kind of have to stay so just patient and committed to the fuel number until you finally say, okay, I'm at my number, let's go for it, and then see how it shakes out at the end?
Personally, I don't really like the fuel strategy races. I mean, I guess it is what it is, but I like being able to run hard, as do a lot of the drivers in here. So, it's difficult to try to ride back for 20, 22 laps until, your team says, hey, we're good, let's go. And at that point, obviously, we're pushing it. But that 20 laps, man, is nothing that any of the drivers in here want to do. We're all about racing. And that caution just come at a horrible time. So it is what it is. And I'm glad to take P3 home tonight. And Kevin Freeze, congratulations on your win, man. He hopped in Discord with me and Vince and Zach there for the end. And wasn't able to get Zach the win like I had hoped. But I'm happy that Kevin won nonetheless in a very good points race.
Yeah, it was a really good result, like I said. Yeah, and unfortunately, just on these ones, it's like you said, it's just the timing of the caution. I mean, we've seen that in NASCAR and in various leagues, and it's crazy to see 2 weeks in a row here at Area 51 on Thursday, now tonight on Sunday, to have the exact same situation pretty much unfold. But like you said, you kind of took your medicine, but were able to then go after it there at the end, and they did a great job. You stayed committed to Zach, which is always it's really impressive to see how kind of committed you guys are with one another, with the teammates, and that's what it takes to get chances to win these races for sure. So definitely not one to hang your head on there, Cody. A great job tonight. And also a good looking paint scheme on the side of that 06 machine. So definitely wanted to give you the floor here for your podium tonight for any thanks and shout outs for the third place, and of course if you want any extra for the added sponsors on the side of that thing.
Appreciate it, Gael, and thank you for always putting on a great show and broadcast with Green White Checker TV. I really appreciate it. Matt as well, with everything you do with Green White Checker TV.
Hi.
Hi. I want to thank Friend Real Estate. He sponsors my softball team, so I like to give him a shout out on iRacing. So thank you very much for what you do for our softball team. And I want to thank Limitless, Vince, Zach. Great running. I hate about the black flag with Vince, but up until that, he was running a good race, and appreciate Kevin coming in late in the race and running with us as well. It was a great result for all of us, and hopefully we can get Zach in the playoffs.
Yes, that's true. That's coming up here, Matt. Let's say we're only a few races left until we get to that playoff.
Zach was my pick this whole entire time, and dang. Ever so close.
I tried.
I know, but you know what? I've seen it every week here. It's all about teammates. You can't win without a friend, buddy.
That is 100% right. And if you're gonna take P2 to Kevin Freeze, well, that's nothing to be upset about.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah, he's a bit of a
Appreciate
monster. But yeah, go enjoy this one though, Cody. Looking forward to seeing you again on track here soon. And yeah, like I said, it'll be fun to say getting towards that playoff push. So say just keep it up, man, and look forward to seeing what you got for the rest of the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, so that's going to bring us to our runner-up tonight. And like you said, Matt, 0.003 of a second for that number 18 of Zach Workman. It was so close. That's one of those ones where you just wish you had that little extra bit there. But say again, it's another updated paint scheme, a really good looking paint scheme. And so on the plus side, we get to get some more insight about it as well. But Zach, what a run though. Let's say Matt and I pretty much were like, okay, who's gonna make the move first? Who's gonna get the win? We kind of thought you would be the first one to make the move from the bottom to the top, as you had Cody behind you. And then Kevin jumped up first, and then it seemed like maybe a couple laps later, it sounds like maybe you guys got your magic number on fuel, and then you and Cody jumped to the top and made that second lane work really well. And then just unfortunately so close there, just the 3,000s. But I mean, I'm sure still, of course, you want to get that extra little bit there, but it's still a great result tonight. Obviously, having to kind of take your medicine with that fuel savings until you can kind of go back and do what you guys do best. I mean, take us through the race and then take us through the move there to try to get to the front there once you got that magic fuel number there.
Yeah, well, the caution kind of came out at a interesting time. Like, I saw that we were going to go back green with 51, so I knew immediately that we're going to have to top off and save this entire run. And I was kind of surprised the people that stayed out, Gabe and Boot Knockers and all of them. I was like, there's no way they're making it. And then they eventually go to the back, and I saw me, Cody, and Kevin were the first ones on our strategy. So I knew if we saved for about 25 laps, most of the run, that we would get enough so we could power down. Kevin went early. He saved a lot more than I did. Couldn't save as well as Kevin. And then when I got my magic number, I was like, all right, time to go. Had a teammate behind me and almost had it. Just so close, but, we'll take the good points night and 0x and stuff like that. But our strategy worked out. If we would have got a caution there, we knew those guys up front were going to be good. But if we also got a caution like later for green white, we knew all of us were going to have to pit, except for the guys that pitted early. I think it was Overstreet and Levy. So just glad the strategy worked out. And Kevin jumped in our team speak with like 20 laps ago, since we were all on the same strategy. So, good job for him.
Second place is nothing to hang your head down there, bud. You're looking forward to the future. You're looking toward the playoff picture, which has come up in just a few races that me and Guy were talking about. You're sitting in, have to check the standings after the race here. You're probably sitting in a great spot here. Just never hang your head down. But just think about the future, bud. Wins are coming.
Yeah, we're close tonight, man. I know you were talking to me earlier, and I'm like, oh, I hope I talk to you guys later, but we did.
I did. I predicted it.
Yeah, just a good night overall. I know Vicente had some black flag clearing issue, but we know those don't get cleared here, which is fine. It's all the rules here. Just sucks for Vicente getting the bad finish. But we'll take the 2 podium spots for Limitless. Thanks to those guys for letting me run here. And it was a fun finish, just really close. Maybe I could have doored Kevin a little bit, but it's fine.
That was his plan all along for switching over to the Discord. It's like, hey, if I jump over with those guys, they'll play nice with me at the end.
Yeah, I know. This took us for granted, I guess.
But no, I mean, a great result. And saying, but before we let you go, definitely wanted to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts for that runner-up tonight. And saying, again, a great looking paint scheme on that thing as well. So definitely want to give you the.
It's pretty cheap too. All manufacturers, they got all kinds of different cars. So we got this done. Got to thank my Limitless team of Vicente and Cody helping me all night. They're trying to get me in this playoffs. I know I had a rough start to the season, but we're starting to click off some good finishes. I got to thank Racing Bros NASCAR podcast for jumping on board with the sponsorship, and check out wherever you get podcasts. And thank you guys for doing a great job in the booth. First time I actually got to talk to you, so this is awesome.
Don't worry, there'll be many more times where you talk to us.
I hope so. Maybe next week.
Yeah, so usually once you break through, it becomes a bit of a habit. So, but great job though tonight, Zach. Like I said, we were able to put yourself in the right spot at the right time, and just about had there. But yeah, but again, just that's the way you want to run these things. So yeah, definitely a great job tonight, man. And you're right though. I mean, you guys start looking at the points because we're getting down to it. So go enjoy this one though, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. And keep climbing up there, and we'll see you hopefully in that top 8 for that Final Four playoffs.
We're trying. Thank you guys.
All right, Matt, that leaves us one driver left to chat with, and that is the number 25 of Kevin Fries, and he is by far the biggest fan of fuel mileage races. He's mentioned before how much he loves racing fuel mileage races because he's just so good at doing everything. But Kevin, I mean, joking aside, going into time, I mean, we saw you running the apron even on the warm-up lap, kind of foreshadowing almost tonight, where you were saving fuel from the get-go after getting the pole tonight. And Matt and I talked about it, it's like, well, Kevin's not one of those that gets the lap led and then rolls to the back. He's going to want to be up front. He's going to want to control the race, and you did a lot of that tonight. At one point, you kind of had to fight back against some of those limitless guys to get back to the front. But man, I mean, 2 weeks in a row, or actually not 2 weeks in a row, but 2 nights in a row, I should say, between Thursday and now tonight on Sunday, where you were right in the thick of it at the hunt with that fuel mileage drama at the end. Tonight, you finally able to come out on top, and obviously you're trying to make some jumps back in the points to have a chance at those playoffs after missing a couple. But I mean, obviously we know how you felt about it on Thursday. I mean, how was it? Similar difficulty? Was it more difficult tonight? I mean, take us through just kind of what you had to do there on kind of just coming back to the green, topping off the one to go, and just knowing like, hey, I got to save every ounce of fuel to make it to the end here.
Yeah, once that caution came out there, it was I immediately saw it. I'm like, oh no, here we go again. But luckily, this one I didn't have to save as much as the other night. So once I hit my number pretty good, and I was like, all right, time to go. When we're all checking up to 170s, 180s, that's not a lot of fun. So it's way more fun to just pick up the pace once you can and race it out.
And then,
The beginning of that race, yeah, I knew because the fuel mileage was kind of weird. Out front, I could get almost 27, but not quite there. So I knew I had to, over the course of the race, save about a lap to make it so that I knew I was safe I could make it to the end. And that's why it was just like, all right, let's save a little bit here, a little bit there. When Gabe was in front of me, I was trying to just push, obviously, to keep it, but naturally saving fuel a little bit, trying to cool the car off and all that. And it was close, but it was a little slow, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some times where, I mean, we were seeing single cars on the outside working their way back to the front without any help, and we're kind of just chuckling to ourselves, and it's like, yep, this looks just like Thursday, where it's the race of who doesn't want to lead, basically. But then I say, yeah, like I said though, you were able to get your fuel number there pretty early on, and I mean from there, like I said, you took to the front and you got JD to tag on to you, and I mean, it seemed like you were able to really pick up the pace since you did all the really hard work early. Was that also maybe a thought about, hey, if I pick up the pace, I can maybe try to run more guys out of fuel, or was it just, hey, I can make it, I just want to get to the front and try to control my destiny at the end?
Yeah, I wanted to pick up the pace because it was getting slow enough that somebody who was even, almost like probably a lap short would have had a shot to make it. So once you pick that pace up, you spread the pack apart because it's more of a rapid acceleration as compared to the slower one that would have happened. So once they hit that clean air, they use more fuel, and you also then don't have as tight of a pack with runs coming from everywhere that you have to defend. So I just wanted to, once I knew I had my number, it was just time to go.
No, you worked it to perfection tonight, Kevin. Like I said, you were able to kind of put it all together. And saying again, the points are coming into it pretty heavy. So tonight, I mean, I think tonight's pretty much a max points night for you. Not sure if you got the most laps led or not. I wasn't able to check that, but get the pole, get the win. I believe you're incident free as well, and you do jump 9 spots into a tie for 7th in points. So as it stands right now, you would be in. Obviously, still some races to go, and you've got a small margin. It looks like about 7 points over Randy Minor than Tom Dixon right there as well. So obviously, with the drop, we can't really count anything out yet. But I mean, was that, as I said, this is one of those ones where kind of a bit of a sigh of relief and kind of like, okay, now I don't have to make as big of a step to try to get to that Final Four.
Yeah, I think the most important one to get is that 0 incidents, and that's why when the field was like checking up and all that, I'm like, oh, here comes the 4X. Like the other night, right at the start finish line, I had a clean race right up until that moment, and those 0 incident races, those points add up so fast. Even from a few seasons ago, when I was running, that helped me maintain my points position because it's free. You just have to watch out for yourself and everybody else around you, and as long as you race that way, you're gonna do well and be consistent.
Yep. So you put it all together tonight, man. So great job. Like I say, getting the win tonight, making that big jump in points, and say maybe next week things will be kind of full send and not have to worry about any fuel stuff at the end. But again, I mean, you did everything you had to do tonight, be it speed, be it fuel savings, and did everything tonight to put it together for the win. So before we let you go and celebrate, definitely want to give you the floor here for any thanks and shouts for that win tonight.
Yeah, huge thanks to you, obviously, for leading the broadcast, and Matt. It's always fun. I really do love. I love coming back and watching these just to see, because you obviously can watch the replay, but the broadcast, especially with some of your new camera angles, you just get a new view on the race, and it's fun to watch it and see the dynamic of how everybody else is racing throughout it. And huge shout out and thank you to the Area 51 admin for all the hard work they do for us. And huge shout out to David Bone for the push to get me back up there when JD went into pit, because without him, I would have dropped back quite a bit.
Yeah, Matt and I were a little nervous at the end when we saw JD have to hit pit road for that splash of fuel, but like I said, yeah, David hopped on there and definitely did a great job of pushing. Got himself a top 5 as well. I'm sure selfishly he's like, well, this is my best chance to get my own good finish too. But yeah, great job though tonight, Kevin. Go enjoy this one, man. And I look forward to seeing you again here soon, sir.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Do, man.
All right, Matt, that is our race winner in that number 25 of Kevin Fries. It took us a while. We weren't sure who officially had the win, but like you said, 0.003 of a second was the difference of Kevin Fries over Zach Workman. I have a habit of saying Gabe Butler from some of the other nights. They say he's just been dominant, but not the night Gabe was looking for tonight, finishing 12th. But yeah, great job by Kevin. And it means, like you said, I mean, you got to put it all together. And I mean, he even mentioned, obviously you want to win, but he was even thinking about those bonus points for keeping it clean all the way to the end. So these guys they're counting every single point, because it could come into play for either making the top 8 in the points to make the playoffs, or to maybe get that big championship after the 4th race of the playoffs. So these guys are already thinking big picture here.
Yeah, how many races did Kevin miss? I don't know off my hand.
I think he's missed 2 so far this season.
And he's worked his way up there pretty good. Yeah, that's he's going to be a factor when it comes to playoff time.
Yeah, and that's going to be what's fun to see. There's going to be, I mean, saying that there's going to be that risk versus reward. Someone's got to make those big gains and everything to get back up there. So that's why we're here. That's why you love to see it, and definitely appreciate all the kind words from the drivers, and obviously love having you all watching and supporting us here on Green and White Checker TV. I say it wouldn't be nearly as fun without all of you being a part of it. So Matt, as always, man, love doing these with you. It's a lot of fun. Hope you're enjoying your new setup there. We'll get you in your new digs on track here on Tuesday. But that's going to do it for us this evening. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening. We will see you back again on Tuesday night for the IndyCars IR18s. And until then, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, take care, and we'll see you all on Tuesday.
Good night, everybody.